mission is to really show what's working. Because if we don't show what's working, we can't do it. And so these are all the positive role models. So it's a life mission for me. It's an honor and a pleasure, and I'm so glad to be here to introduce these women who are doing the same thing. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Aunt Lena is the alter ego and creation of Anne-Louise, an internationally known speaker, storyteller, and singer. Aunt Lena is the irrepressible, unpredictable, yet almost prescient distributor of cutting-edge Mediterranean wisdom. She is the crazy Italian aunt whose view of life, love, husbands, and food doesn't just bring a smile to people's faces, but actually goes a little deeper into their lives to make a positive difference. This is Anne-Louise's first book. Aunt Lena's Cucina is more than a cookbook. The underlying message in this wonderful collection of family-tested recipes is eat to live and live to love. The book was recently awarded the Silver Award by the International Gallery of the International Association of Printing House Craftsmen. Raised in northern New Jersey, Anne-Louise is the eldest daughter of a large Italian family where music and storytelling were always a big part of life. Anne-Louise and Aunt Lena perform across America and in Europe in concerts and keynotes. And it's wonderful that her mom brought her here. Her mom is from Rhode Island. And tell us your name.
Anne
Scrivana is the wonderful mother-in-law. Okay, we're looking for a wonderful surprise. Please welcome Anne-Louise.
Thank you. We just have to get set. So I have my team here to get us set. Aunt Lena has kindly given me permission to speak for a few minutes before she comes to talk to you. That doesn't always happen, so I'm very grateful about that. I want to just tell you a little bit about Aunt Lena and who she is. You see, as our wonderful introducer said, Patricia, I am from a large Italian-American family, and we grew up in northern New Jersey. We were born in, or I was born in New York City, but we lived in Hoboken, the same place where guess who lived? Frank Sinatra. And my grandmother knew Frankie's mother. So if you just want to touch me afterwards, think about this, me, my grandmother, Frankie's mother, Frankie, okay, then touch me, you're only 5 steps removed from Frank Sinatra. And actually, we could do that as a fundraiser, Barbara, and $1 for every touch. We could put the money straight into the scholarship fund. I hadn't thought about that, but now that I think it's a good idea. So we were raised in this wonderful family, and my father's Italian family from northern Italy, and my mother's Italian family from southern Italy. And there's something I just want to tell you before I start. Some of what I will say, and Aunt Lena will say, is truth. And some of what we'll say is truth extended. And I say that sort of for my mother's sake. Because she never knows what I'm about to say. Anyway, so here's this wonderful Italian family. We would go visit the relatives. My grandmother had 5 sisters, and they were from southern Italy, they were kind of what you think of when you think about Italian Americans. The northern Italian family was sweet and loving, but northern Italian, so a little bit more conservative, a little quieter, a little kinder in a way. And the southern Italian family was loud and noisy and vivacious and flamboyant, and I loved their jewelry, and I loved their words, and I loved their clothes. Hence, I'm dressed like this today. And we would go to visit their apartments, and here's what would happen, just like in the movies. And some of you know this because some of you are Italian. Just like in the movies, we would go to their apartment. We would knock on the door, they would open it up. we would go up the stairs, they always lived upstairs for some reason, and into the living room where the red velvet sofas was. Cross my heart, hope to die, I kid you not. The red velvet sofas, and sometimes even the plastic covering. Just like in the movies. And we would sit there for a long time, and sometimes they had these big exotic plants and hanging crystal chandeliers, and one time, one of my great aunts pulled me to her, and she said, I was about 11, she said, this is the kind of information I got from them. When it's that time of the month, don't touch a plant, you'll kill it. Oh, that's the kind of stuff I knew when I was a little kid. Now, I knew I couldn't tell my mother that. I somehow knew that was bad, but I didn't even know what that time of month was. But I knew it was bad. So I spent 40 years killing every plant that I came in contact with. I still do it today. I'm a recovering plant killer right now. And sometimes, but I have to tell you that when I figured out what time of month it was and what that meant, I had a brother. And I thought to myself, if it works on a plant. I tried for many years. He's 2 years older than I am, but he's still living, so it doesn't work on plants. Anyway, so you would be in that living room and touching the plants or not touching the plants. You would go down the hallway, and there was a kitchen where they were always making spaghetti gravy. Some of you know that it's called gravy. Some of you call it sauce, but our family, lots of Italian American families, call spaghetti sauce gravy. And we didn't say gravy, or we didn't say, pasta and sauce. We said gravy and macaroni. And you talked about the kind of macaroni you ate: vermicelli, linguine, spaghetti, ziti. It didn't matter. That's how you talked about it. And they always had that bubbling, and you always had to eat because they loved you and they made it for you. And you have to eat it because they love you. Consequently, I'm a wonderful eater to this day. I can eat anything you put in front of me. Because if you didn't eat, you had no respect, you know what I mean? You ready to practice, ready? Really easy, ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Really easy, you can do that for anything. So that's what we used to do. Then you would go down the hallway to the bathroom, which was the most astonishing place in their apartments. They called it the turlet. In those days, okay? Because in the turlet, you would go there as a little kid, you'd sit down, and on the shower rail were drying their moudans. Their moudans, their underwear, they were gigantic. They were pink, they were white, they were yellow, they were enormous. And you'd sit there now as a child and you'd think, how can anybody fit into something like that? And here's the terrible thing that happened to me when I got older, and I might say yay for the 59-year-olds, because in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be 59 too. Yeah. Make sure you get this microphone. We're going to turn it this way. Because here's the thing. Once you get older, you find out that the moudans. I got my own hair right here. I got my own pair of moudans. And they're so comfortable. You know what I mean? Yeah. You too can have your own pair. I have some extra back at the house. And then the other thing, yeah. Here's the other thing. Now you might have to stand up and see this, but they always wore their stockings pulled down. They never pulled them up unless like the priest was coming over or something, you know what I mean? They always wore them rolled down, so you would go to their houses and here they would be with their stockings rolled down. And then of course, over those moudans, they always wore their house dresses, which I think some of you have hidden in your house right now, but you don't bring them out when you come to the club, you know what I mean? Probably you go home right today, you put these house dresses right back on. They wore their house dresses. Then of course, always fancy shoes, because you never knew who was going to come over. So if somebody came over, you had your fancy shoes on, you pulled your stockings up, you were good to go. A little tip you go to take right now. You take that tip home with you. So they had their little shoes. Then here was the other thing about them. You would sit at the kitchen table with them. Now, and look at them. And they had some unusual facial characteristics that other families don't have, okay? I'm going to turn like this because I can't get in front of it, okay? And sometimes, and they never talked about it. See, I need a sound man dog to come up here and make this big one. Here we go, okay, here we go. Oh, okay. So they had unusual facial hair. Like this, you know? And here was the thing. Nobody talked about it. So imagine this, you're 10 years old, you're sitting there, the entire table is surrounded by your great aunts, and they all have this on their faces. And nobody ever says the M-word. It's a don't ask, don't tell policy. You know what I mean? And then they had the beauty mark, sometimes on one side, sometimes on the other side. So you would sit there looking at them and you would think, is this going to happen to me? And just like the Mudan, find out it does happen to you. But now they have products for that. Okay, here we go. And then, of course, they always wore their glasses because they wanted to look up to date. And the other thing that's very important that I would like to share with you is a little fashion tip. They always wore red lipstick, which they put on without a mirror wherever they were, right? Okay? And then they would smack their lips together and they would go, is it on my teeth, though? Is it on my teeth? Right on the teeth, okay? They would whip out this lipstick at any time of the day and night. You never knew when they were going to do it. And they carried their pocketbooks with them. And of course, they always wore gloves because a lady always wore gloves. Probably you have some family members like this here in Rhode Island right now, right? Yeah. Now, I was talking to some nice lady, Barbara, like the organizer, the head of the chief honcho of the whole thing. And she told me that her Nona had a gold tooth. Now, in my family, we had no gold tooth. I don't know, we took gold lines, had gold teeth. I don't know. We didn't have any gold teeth in our family. I don't know what the problem was. But I'm thinking a gold tooth is a good thing. Anyway, okay. And then, of course, they always wore tons of jewelry. Always. They were clanky and clanky with their jewelry. They loved to wear jewelry. And then, of course, they always wore a hat because the lady never goes out without a hat, of course. Now, and then, of course, the summer stole. In the winter, they wore foxes. You know, we used to make the fox head talk. In the summer, kind of like, well, with a little lighter weight. Okay, so now, we're almost ready. Aunt Lena's here. I'm just going to channel her. Hold on one sec. Just everybody breathe deeply while she comes. One more breath in. Like meditation at the news. Hi, dolls. Anne-Louise is great, Aunt Lena's the author. And I wrote this wonderful book that I came to talk to you about today because it's a book about life and love that I wanted to share. You probably want to know how an old lady like me wrote a book, okay? You probably think me she's way too old to do that. But this girl here said, age doesn't matter because you can be beautiful at any age. Did you not, darling? Did you not? See, because we go together. We kind of go together. So, you know, I never got to go to high school because in those days, in the 1900s, they didn't send girls to high school. But I went back to college, community college, when I was 70, so I could learn all the important stuff. Kind of first class I took was sexual education. I wanted to see if they were teaching, you know what I mean? They were not teaching what I had learned. But that's for another time because I'm supposed to be talking about my book, so we're going to go right back to the book. Anyway, so you're probably thinking, how did I write a book? And this is what I did. I took a pen, I put it on the paper, and I wrote the words. And I found out that that's how you have to do it. That's what you've got to do. Now, probably some of you here are thinking, I could write a book. No big deal. I've got a lot to say. How many people think that? Raise your hand. See, people think that. I thought the same thing. No big deal. Just put the pen on the paper. But I'm going to tell you, it is no big deal if you put the pen on the paper and you write the words. So I'm giving you all the tips. So next year, you can all be the authors at this thing, okay? You can all be out there getting your book signed with everybody coming up to you and bowing to you and everything like that. So you put the pen on the page and you do it like bird by bird, like Annie Lamott says, okay? Annie Lamott, a wonderful author, she writes books about writing. Bird by bird, just one word at a time, you put the words on the page. It's amazing what happens when you do that. Now, Anne-Louise, my great niece, she doesn't like writing. She's scared of writing. Because every time she starts putting words on a page, she starts thinking, oh, I don't like that word. That's not a very good word. That's a bad word. She judges herself all the time. You probably might do that too. And March's book was talking about the same thing. No judging. So when you put words on a page, you don't judge. You just put them there because that's all the goodness from you coming out on the page. You got to write what's in your heart. So I wrote this book. It's got recipes in it and it's got fashion tips. Now I know we're at the Dunes Club. I know we're at the Dunes Club. You're a fancy place, but fashion tips some of you should use from the back of the book. You know what I mean? And it's great fashion. Come see me after that. In fact, I can pass the red lipstick around if anybody wants to. Some of you are looking a little pale, and you know, red brightens you right up. In fact, this table here is going to be very pale. I'm going to pass that red lipstick along. And you know when you pass the lipstick around, no one gets sick from it. Did you know that? It's like a communion cup. Nobody gets sick when we all take a sip from the same cup. The same thing with lipstick. I need no disrespect. You know what I mean? So you write the words down, you don't judge them, and then you let somebody else read it later. You can fix it later, but you got to write what's in your heart. So I wrote about food. I wrote about love. I wrote about family. I wrote about eating supper together. I wrote about cooking your own food because cooking your own food is about love. And when your family's all together, there's nothing better than that. You know what I mean? I'm going to read you a little piece from the book because they told me that's what authors do, you know what I mean? So I'm pretending, you know. So they like to read, so I'm going to read you something from my book. But I got to take these glasses off because I can't see a dang thing with them on. Hold on here. They're just for fashion, but just remember, it's all about fashion, you know what I mean? You got to look good. If you look good like this, you get the gigs. Okay, so I'll just read this one little piece. It's about the family, you know what I mean? It says here, okay, I like this part. And it's got nice pictures, by the way. Glamorous pictures of me and myself. You know, Aunt Lena, right? The very glamorous pictures. And you're probably going to get these pictures and you're going to want to look like this too. I can talk to you about where you can get these outfits too, okay? I think Rhode Island probably has a lot of stores for them. Anyway, okay, here. Oh, also, exercise tips. Right here in the book it says if you laugh 200 times, it's as good as 10 minutes on a rowing machine. Okay? This is research from Stanford University. Everybody just laugh for a minute. Laugh more. Everybody okay, you're not losing any weight, I can tell. It's not working. You gotta laugh a little harder than that. But this is true. Cross my heart, hope the guy is fit. Okay, here we go. So, we don't got a lot of time, so I gotta talk fast. That's the thing, you know what I mean? Okay, here we go. When you cook these recipes, let your kids or your grandchildren or any kids that are around help you. There's nothing so nice as cooking with the little ones. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. Because perfect is not what it's about. It's about making tradition, and that's about love. Because you know, the kids remember, and they'll want to come home and help you on the next holiday or family time again and again and again. Sometimes when they're big and they moved away from you, though why they move away, I do not know. That's another whole topic. They will remember still and start their own traditions cooking with their kids. And so it gets passed down along with the stories you tell while you're cooking and the songs you sing when you're together. And I'm telling you, nothing can replace this. I know, because I'm old. And it all comes from making my recipes. So, thank you. Yes, clap. Go ahead, clap. Oh, I love clap. You know? So that's what life's about. Now, here's the thing. In the book, of course, there's also a song. Because what's life without songs and stories? And it's to the tune of Funiculi, Funicula, which lots of you know, right? Okay? So I'm just going to teach you the last part. It's about making gravy. You're going to get it in a minute, because you know the chorus of Funiculi, Funicula, don't you? Okay? It goes da 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 da. Did I write? Da 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 da. You got that part? Okay, here we go. Ready? It goes like this. Okay. Now remember, singing is not about singing. Singing is just about us together. We're the community. And by the way, I would like to thank the community of the Women's Club and Barbara for having me here, because it is my pleasure to come and help raise money for women to get education. You know, I was at the Goddess School yesterday, school with little kids over at that South Commons place, and they had me singing and telling stories to kids because they know that that's literacy, early literacy is music and storytelling. And we're raising money for women to get educated, to be able to learn to do all these things. And this is an amen good thing. Everybody clap for the Women's Club right now. Clap for the Women's Club. Thank you for having me, honestly. From my heart to your heart. Okay, here we go. Ready? Gravy, gravy, it will take you far. Gravy, gravy, don't get it from a jar. You make your own, you make your own, you make your own, not from a jar. Making your own gravy feels like flying on a star. Nice. Thank you. You can make that your theme song of the Women's Club. Making your own gravy, because that's what you're doing right here. You're making gravy for other women right here, because that's what life's about. Now we're going to end, because we don't got no more time. We're going to end with the song that you all know. Come talk to me after. I'll put some lipstick on you so you feel good. Now we're going to try to make this work, okay? We're going to see if we can make this whole microphone thing work. But you know, I'm very high tech, so I can do this. Okay, we're good now. Here we go. We got all this. Okay, this crouching like this is good for my thigh muscles. So, you know, I'm exercising while I stand right here. Squatting on it. That work? Okay, okay. Can you hear that at all? Yeah. Can you hear that guitar? Okay, here we go. Ready? We're gonna sing That's Amore because we all know that song. Okay? And if you don't know, remember La La, because La La means good. Okay, Paul, darling, I need you over here to hold my microphone stand up for me. Here it comes. Paul, sweetheart, are you Italian?
I am Domenico.
And now I'm looking for a new husband, Paul. He's young, he's buff, it could be a good thing for Aunt Lena, you know what I mean? I like him young. Okay, now here we go. Now how about this one over here? We get closer? That's good. It's great to have your own soundbite. That's what happens when you're an author, you know what I mean? Write a book that everyone's going to take care of you because you're going to be an author. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? We're almost ready. Okay, can we get this a little closer? Here we go. Are you ready? When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Oh, you just sounded good. When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's amore. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll stay neath the bella. Hearts will play, tickety-tay, tickety-tay, like a gay tarantella, lucky Bella. When the stars make you drool, just like Passepartout, that's amore. Here's the big finish. When you walk down the street with your feet on a cloud, you're in love. Here we go. When you walk in a dream. When you walk in a dream, and you know you're not